Hey guys, so for those wondering why I haven't been uploading videos in like a week, it's because I was on a family trip to California and I didn't get back from it till last night. So I decided to introduce a new segment to my channel. And don't worry, my review of Star Wars: The Clone Wars will be uploaded in a day or two. And I will review Black Panther when it comes out. So without further ado, the new segment I'm introducing is called Movie versus Comic, where I compare certain comic book movies to specific story arcs they took inspiration from, or based off of. So, today I will be comparing Logan to Wolverine Old Man Logan. Now, as most of you know, this movie took inspiration from this comic. And while it took inspiration from it, it's not a direct adaptation. While there are some similarities, there are also quite a bit of differences. One major difference being the story. In the movie, mutants have been dying out for a long time, and mutant births are now rare. And the only surviving mutants, well, the only surviving original mutants are Wolverine, aka Logan, and Professor Charles Xavier. Logan is aged, and his healing factor has deteriorated, while Professor X is now suffering from a degenerative brain disease. Then, this young new mutant named Laura, who has abilities similar to Wolverine, comes along, but she has this team of mercenaries hunting her, and Wolverine has to protect her. In Wolverine Old Man Logan, most of the heroes in the Marvel Universe have been killed off, and only a handful remain. One of the handful that remains being Wolverine himself. He decided not to unsheath his claw for the last 50 years because of a certain incident, which I will get to later in the video. But now he has a family of his own, and he's been living a peaceful life with them since. One day, the Hulk's children, or members of his family, come to him looking for rent money, but he doesn't have it. Then the Hulk family threatens Logan and his family and give him a time limit for him to get the money. So therefore, he goes on a quest with former Avenger Hawkeye, who is now blind, to do a certain task that'll get him paid, and he'll be able to afford his rent money. So, already I mentioned a couple similarities and a couple differences. The similarities in the story are being that in Logan, the mutant population has been dying out, and in Wolverine Old Man Logan, most of the Marvel Universe's superheroes have been killed off. So that's one major similarity. What's different is that the heroes that have been dying in this movie only consist of the mutants in Fox's X-Men universe, while the heroes that have been dying in this comic consist of you know, most of the Marvel Universe's heroes. Like examples being Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, Daredevil, and so on. Another difference is, as I mentioned, in the comic, Hawkeye and Hulk are in this, but they're not in this. Instead, their roles are occupied by characters like X-23, Professor X, Caliban, and the Reavers. And Fox couldn't use Hulk and Hawkeye, because copyright issues and shit. And while in this movie, Wolverine is fighting to protect himself and his family, well, this comic, I should say, that's if I said movie by mistake. In the movie, he's fighting to protect a young mutant from mercenaries. Another big difference is that the way the X-Men are killed are different. In the movie, the X-Men are killed after Professor X has a brain seizure, and the only reason Wolverine was able to survive it was because of his healing factor. In the comic, the X-Men die after Magneto tricks Wolverine into thinking that they were some of the Marvel Universe's supervillains. And if you're wondering how that works, well, for those who read the comic, I think you might understand. But if you don't, I'd recommend giving it a read, and maybe then, yeah. Let's just say he's able to do it in some way that prevents Wolverine from being able to detect it. Another difference is that the comic ends on a much happier note than the movie. In the movie, for those who don't know, spoiler alert, that's if you haven't seen this movie. So because I said spoiler alert, you may want to turn this video off. Well, then again, the title does say contains spoilers. So if you haven't watched the movie, don't watch this video. Anyway, in the movie, at the very end of this movie, Logan dies. But at the very end of this comic, he rides off into the sunset after taking in one of Hulk's children after defeating the Hulk. Yeah. I will mention one more thing. One major similarity is that both the movie and the comic are gruesomely violent. Like, Hugh Jackman wanted this movie to be his last Wolverine movie, and he wanted it to be rated R. And the producers in the studio decided to take inspiration from this comic. And I feel like it makes sense. Though they did change some things up a bit, a lot of the changes they made did make sense for the sake of storytelling. So, between the comic or the movie, I can't really decide which I like better because both are really good. This being my favorite comic book movie of 2017 and easily my favorite of the Wolverine trilogy. And this movie, not this movie, this comic, I made that mistake twice. This comic possibly being my favorite Wolverine story arc. So, between these two, which one do you personally like? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll catch you all later.